Hello, it's David again, chatting with you now about your AEI Premium trial and the Ag Forecast Network tool that you're going to have access to. The only way you're going to have access to the AFN tool is with the AEI Premium. There's nothing else like this out there. Brent and I designed this to improve how we were thinking about uncertainties and discussing it with each other, and we put this tool together to help you as well. On the surface, it's going to be easy to dismiss this tool as just another survey or another survey question, but it's not. It is a tool designed to help you improve your thinking. And the way this does this is we ask very challenging, very specific questions, and we give you the opportunity to share your expectations and update your expectations over time. So I encourage you to take a look at this, and I'm going to show you a couple examples of how this works. The first one I'm going to show you, as you get in here, you're going to see the broad topics that we have these organized in, and we have a quick summary description of the specific question. So this is talking about gasoline consumption getting over 9 million barrels, and we can expand this and we can get into the details of the question. So the specifics are, what's the probability of implied gasoline consumption as measured here exceeding 9 million barrels per day between May and August 2020. Now, if you're like me, the first thing you're going to say is, how in the world will I know? I don't have any idea. I don't track motor gasoline consumption. How could I ever begin to forecast this? Well, that's a good question. But we got to think about why this question is important. And so there's a lot of discussion out there about driving and gasoline consumption and why it's important to agriculture for the corn markets and what's going on with ethanol and how much ethanol is being blended. It's also a proxy measure for economic activity in the broad economy. So it's a very important question. A lot of people are sharing ideas. Now, what we're going to provide you here are these links. So you can click on one of these links and it's going to take you to the most recent article that we've written from the deeper dive section. It's going to help improve your thinking. So we did a bit of a background here, and this graph and the articles we're providing you will help bring you up to speed to help you share your expectations. So now what seemed very abstract, 9 million barrels a day, you can read this article, you check out this graph, and you can start to see, oh, 9 million barrels per day would be a return to average. Here's where we have been. Here's the recovery that's been underway. And August is way out here. So now you begin to create some expectations as to what you think is possible. We all have internal expectations about how the economy will recover. This is one way that we can think about that particular question. So once you check the most recent data, review the question, you can use the slider to dial in your forecast. I'm going to stick mine at 92%. I read the most updated post, hit submit, get this feedback form confirming it, and then I can scroll down. The toggle hit here allows me to view my forecast by itself, but also to turn on the consensus. The consensus is the average of all the other forecast network users. And right now, my forecast is way above the consensus. I am saying, I think it's a 90% chance of us getting back to 9 million barrels. The consensus here is at 53%. You can also see your logged comment when you hover over that note. So you can also scroll down and see some of the other questions, such as what's the probability of U.S. exports to China exceeding $35 billion in 2020. Again, background information. You can input your forecast and you can check out the consensus as well. So when Brent and I were reflecting on our shortcomings and how our thinking let us down, we recognize that oftentimes we start with bad questions like, do you think corn prices will go higher? And we follow those up with bad responses like, sure, maybe, it's likely, or the worst possibles are yes or no. And then we inevitably, because we had bad questions and bad responses, we never actually got a feedback. And so the design here with AFN is to ask very specific questions. So when you take a look at this, we have a specific thing, implied U.S. gasoline consumption measured as weekly supplied finished motor gasoline. We have a threshold exceeding 9 billion barrels, and we have a time frame. And what's specific about these questions is that at some point the event is either going to happen or it's not going to happen. And that brings us to what we're going to talk about in the third video, is that feedback loop, that resolution. All of these questions get resolved, and we're going to able to reflect on our thinking and where we were thinking the right thing or where we were thinking the wrong thing, and how we can make improvements later down the road. The second important piece of this is we are answering or giving answers probabilistically. So what is the probability of something happening? Similar to the weather forecast, is there a 90% chance of this event occurring or a 10% chance of this occurring? We can usually distinguish between 10% events and 90% events when we're talking to our friends and neighbors at the coffee shop, but it starts to get sticky around 40% and 60% or 60% and 90%. Words like probably or likely or highly likely mean something to us, but there's a lot of ambiguity in that can lead us astray. So again, this is a framework that's designed to challenge your thinking, and it's designed to help you think more critically. So you can use this framework within the Forecast Network. You can take these questions and ask your friends in the coffee shop. You should take these similar questions and ask those around you to help you get a better measure of what's going on in the world around you and the expectations that are guiding decisions in the world around you. Again, this is David with AEI. Join me in the next video as I talk about that feedback loop. Thanks. Catch you later.